For this project, you'll need a white piece of paper, your colored pencil pack, and a regular pencil. Hi class, it's Mrs. Latinsky back for another art project. Today we're going to create a mountainscape, a nice chilly wintry mountainscape. Now that it's the colder weather, we're going to discuss the element of art value and the principle of design repetition. Today, I want to introduce you to two artists who inspired this art project. The first one is named Jen Aranyi. She's an artist who lives in Maryland, and she does both art with watercolor paintings, but she also works as a graphic designer. The art she does, she features on her Instagram account, and you can even buy pieces of it. She specializes in little miniatures. It's really beautiful stuff she does. The other artist, his name's Randy Small, and he's actually from my hometown area in Whatcom County, Washington. And he does beautiful photography of the local landscapes, the farms, and especially the mountains. And I'd like to look at some of his photographs of mountains, which inspire the way that I look at mountains in our mountainscape that we'll be doing. Jennarani has an Instagram account, which is a form of social media, where she shares a lot of the art projects she's working on. And this one's a really fun example of how she does really small pieces. This is on a little ornament made out of wood where she's done this beautiful mountainscape. Look at that sky, how it's got a shift in value from the colors. You can see it's very dark blue down to a light blue. Also, I want you to take a look at the mountain itself. So you can see how the mountain has parts that are shaded. Maybe those are parts where there's no snow, but you can see there are darker parts and whiter parts. And how she's done this is she's created areas. Do you see how there are black lines that all go in one direction to create a repetition of the line, but it also gives a sense of shadow and shading there. And here's the other artist, Randy Small. I wanted to share some of his photography that he does on his Twitter page. This is another form of social media that he shares the photographs he does of the Whatcom County area. This particular mountain is called the Twin Sisters, and it was the view I had when I was growing up. And you can see the gorgeous sky. Maybe you can see the natural value shift that takes place in this gorgeous sunrise sky. See how it's a darker shade of red at the top, but it gets lighter and lighter as the value changes closer to the mountain. Something Grace did. This is a mountainscape she did. You can see she did a coyote up in the corner and some beautiful vertical beams of light shooting out like sunset lines out the top and over the mountains that frame them. What I was really impressed with was her use of trees. She has some gorgeous trees here in the foreground that she did in dark colors and even a little lake in front. Lizzie did a gorgeous mountainscape as well. Her mountains are a bit more jagged and peaked, but you'll notice that on the sides of the mountains there's a shadow and there's also trees in the foreground. She even chose to have a little stream going through it. And here's a drawing I did of a mountainscape. What I did is I chose to do something of the Twin Sisters, that mountain, that range that's in, or those mountains that are near where I grew up. You can see, and you can see several different peaks with the snowy spots, just like Jennarani did with hers. I tried to use her style on those mountains, but I also did a shift in value from dark to light in the top, as well as a shift in value from dark to light as the mountains go up as well. You can see there's different foothills there and they get lighter as you get closer to the mountain, and some trees in the foreground as well. See how Lizzie did all these different peaks on hers. But we can also do just one mountain like I did. Do something like this, Mount Rainier. First thing we're going to draw is the mountain. It's pretty simple. So pick somewhere right in the middle on the edge and go up. Not all the way to the top because we want to leave some room for sky, right? And go down the edge of a mountain. Somewhere about halfway between the mountain and the ground, you're going to create some hills. And because it's further down, it's going to show that this is closer to you than the mountain. This comes before the mountain. It's called a foothill. And I think I'll even stick another foothill in between those guys. And it's going to be like this. We get to do the shadows and the rocky places on the mountain where there isn't snow. And to do this, we start at the very top of the mountain. Okay, and this is like that artist Jen Aranyi. This is what she does. She starts at the top of the mountain peak, and then she plans the shadowy side to go on this left side of the mountain peak. That's going to be the shadowy side. We're going to imagine the light's coming from here and shining on the mountain, so it's going to hit the snowy parts. But this part on this side is going to be on the back side of the mountain, so it's not going to get all that sunlight. So it is going to have a darker value. We're going to start right in the middle of the mountain, and we're going to go down. But we don't have to make it even. We can go all kinds of wibbly wobbly. Look at that. We could go, and then we're going to stop when we get down to the bottom of the mountain. But it can be any way, and you can go up and around, however you want, until you get to the bottom like that. And you can also create some other little shadowy spots here based on, I don't know, places where there's maybe no trees, or places that are rough on the mountain. I don't know, different textures on the mountain. But what we're going to do is use a repeated kind of line to create a kind of shading effect. We could just color it all in darker color. That's one way to shade, but we're going to do it with a repeating line. I like to use my black colored pencil for this part. You're going to pick a direction. I generally like to pretend I'm starting like at this corner and going straight down. So my lines are all going to follow that kind of path. I just space them all out close together, but I don't overlap them. A repeated line over and over again. And this is creating that shading. There's all kinds of ways of shading. You can do little lines, you can make little X's, you can make little swirls, all kinds of things. But today I'm doing lines. You decide your pencil and just color it all in. That would make it darker too. But we are creating a different effect, just like the artist Jennarani does in hers. She is our inspiration for this mountain shading, and it looks pretty neat. And we're going to start here next to the mountain, here and here, and we're going to go push really hard with this color to start out with. And I like to keep my lines going the same direction in general. So side to side, side to side. I think it looks nice to be consistent with that repetition, even in our own lines, instead of scribbling all in a whole bunch of different directions. So I got a pretty dark line here. You see how dark that is? That's pretty dark. Going to keep getting lighter as we go. You might want to lay your pencil on its side a bit more here. You can even take your pencil and put your finger on top of it like this. My fingers are getting tired. Now we're going to look at these foothill areas. Another value change is going to happen as we go further away. I'm going to pick a dark green pencil, and the darkest green I'm going to choose here, and it's going to get to lighter green here. Oh, look who's here. Kitten interruption. Hi, Toby. Toby, I'm trying to do some coloring. Outline those hills. Bye. Thanks for visiting. Oh, he's back. Color that first foothill a darker, heavier shade of that green, and then use a lighter value, which means coloring more lightly on the ones behind it. Once you've finished coloring all your hills, now go and outline all of them and outline your mountain in black and all those little shaded areas in black too to make those stick out. To make trees, make a triangle shape by squiggling down. The further down you go, the closer the tree looks. Make as many trees as you want. You can make a lot of little ones or some big tall ones. Here's our final project. It's Mount Rainier. Thanks for doing art with me. I hope you enjoyed doing our mountainscape.